They couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. So my wife said to me, you know what, I think you have Parkinson's. And she was right. As soon as they found out diagnosed with Parkinson's, they gave me cinnamon right away. Every neurologist I saw had a different idea. They put me in a different program. They keep changing because they're trying to figure out they really don't know how much I should take. And right now maybe I'm taking a little too much. But I'll go in another month, I'll see him and to readjust medication.
What happens is, what's happened to me, is that the therapeutic window has gotten less forgiving. So in other words, whereas before a little bit of cinnamon, a little too much, not enough. I could get by and feel, and I sort of flip into this normal state. When you start to get offs and dyskinesia, those are the two extremes of too much or too little. And they just, it becomes unforgiving about that window. So basically that window has closed quite a bit for me. So the amount of time I spend during a given day feeling kind of like I can operate my body in a good old-fashioned, normal way has been reduced to just a few hours. And then there's normal hours where I'm some form of off, so that means I'm somewhere between sort of pseudo-paralyzed and just sort of like feeling like I weigh twice what like everything's sort of twice as heavy as it really is, or worse, all variations of that. And then the other side of it, dyskinesia for me hasn't been super bad, but it just feels creepy in my body. It feels, I call it strung out, but wiggly. It's just not very fun.
But the concern now is finding a physician who will examine you regularly and take on a whole patient rather than a conversation with a neurologist. How much do they know about cinnamon? How much more could they inform me about cinnamon? It is the only way, It's the only way. If you can't use cinnamon, you're up the creek. I was recently prescribed a high dose of cinnamon. And even a high dose of cherry soda is not good. So what are the implications, and how do I reduce it myself? Do I reduce it myself? Is there a way to gradually decrease the amount? How do I manage this drug? Nobody seems to know the answers to these questions.
Well, I have to say, I could not do what I do if it weren't for my meds. And if I had to do it all over again, I would do it differently. I waited a long time before I took any medication. And I would take it earlier because the medication allows you to reinforce normal movement patterns. And I think that in and of itself is neuroprotective. And that if you hold it off forever, you lose connection to that. Not completely. I mean, I finally went on Cinemet, and I'm only in my second year of it, and it's it's wonderful for me. It reconnects me to myself, who I am, how I feel, But so I'm not against medication, but what I'm interested in is using medication as conservatively as possible, so we stretch out that arc of productive usage for as long as we can. And that's where movement and music come in, that they help carry us over from that that window you have when your meds are wearing off, but it's not yet time for your next dosage, and you lose functioning. That's where music and movement and this training can help carry you through those periods so that you can maintain function at lower dosages. That's what I do. So I'm not pro medicine, like by all means just take it. I'm not anti-medicine either. I'm all for finding and tweaking it and finding out the right cocktail for you that you can get the most functioning from at the lowest dosage.